Hi. We've gotten together around the world. Here we are in our regularly assigned seats to be called on by the teacher. Not really. We've collected ourselves. Here we are. We've collected ourselves today, which is ironic because that's what we're here to talk about. Today's episode is about collecting. What do we collect? Art. Collect art. Collect baseball cards. Collect things that contribute to art. Well, you probably Canadians might collect baseball cards. I'm sure.
I'll tell you what something sometimes when I see the value of those cards, I kick myself because when I was young, we used to play these games where we would set the cards up and toss them. So we had baseball cards and lots of hockey cards. And I used to have a whole paper shopping bag full of them. And sometimes I like set my mind and go, what happened to those cards? Ah, long gone. Too bad I would be a millionaire.
Millionaire.
Oh no.
What a shame. What a shame. Yeah, I have Hot Wheels, these little cars. I've kept them since I was a boy, thinking that one day they would be valuable, but who knew? Like if you play with them, they're no longer valuable. They're just fun. So fun is the value. So that could be part of the thing too. Like why are we collecting? Are we collecting for the purpose of what's that word? Remuneration? I never get that word right. Or for fun or art
Yeah.
supplies. I collect a lot of art supplies.
Art- I think we can all say that we are art supply collectors.
Yeah,
I
That's
have too
hilarious.
many. I have too many. I have to purge. Just like it's crazy.
You know what
It's
happens for
crazy.
me is every time someone else purges, I end up with all their unwanted.
Yeah.
The truth is that a person's trash is another person's treasure, huh?
Yeah,
All
Hmm.
treasures.
absolutely,
All
absolutely.
treasures.
Well, I've noticed Cheryl has some amazing artwork in her house. What do you collect, Cheryl?
Um, I've bought a huge Aboriginal painting. I've got a few prints, but pretty much that's my cat just coming down the stairs. I always try when I go out to art exhibitions to buy sort of something. And when I used to take my children along, and they'd buy cute little animals, or they'd buy pelicans, or they'd buy 20 frogmouth owls, or kookaburras, or so they were always given the opportunity to buy, little painting for themselves, because generally a lot of little art shows, collectives, there will always be some little animals and Australian animals and something like that. So the kids are, yeah, so the kids are used to it. And I've done a lot of swapping with other artists.
Oh,
Mm.
yes.
How did you institute that? You just asked them?
Yeah, just sort of say, like, these are friends or people, and let's swap. Would you like one of mine? I'll have one of yours. Let's swap. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Laura, you've moved a couple of times. Have you maintained collections and you just keep them in different places? Or how do you
I
do it?
don't collect different things. The only thing that is sometimes is, I cannot say that it's a collection, but when I go in some exhibition, I prefer if I go, like, in a different city. I like to buy little paintings. Usually, I prefer original. But the problem is that I don't. I have all stuff there and don't.
Never hang them.
No.
They're archived.
Time to decide, and so I postpone. Another collection that I have is not my collection. It's my daughter that started when she was a child, that collected the snow, the ball with the snow. If you move,
Snow globes.
yes.
Snow globes.
But she stopped because there was so many that you need to have a space to put them, and they're all in a box.
But are
Very
they
true.
precious to her still?
Sorry.
Are they still precious to her?
Yeah, probably, because I remind her where she's been.
Yeah.
And she doesn't like it when someone gift her with that, because she said, I want to have the ones that where I've been, not that someone take me. But however, she was lucky that she would be able to be in few places.
Mm. That
I'll
that that
go on my own. I like to collect it to when I away to buy little paintings or yeah.
So how do y'all feel about being gifted a piece of art to add to your collection? Are you comfortable
I
with
love it.
that, or you love it?
Hmm.
I've heard
Yeah.
people say that they hate it
Yeah,
too.
no, I enjoy it because it's like when someone gives you jewelry or something that it's their taste, that it may not necessarily be my taste, but every time I look at it or I wear it, I think of that person.
Hmm.
Mm. I
So
just love it.
it carries two things. It carries the art that it is, but it also carries the sentiment of the person behind it, you know?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ross, what about you? What do you like to collect?
Well, I like to collect books, I guess, because
Oh,
I can't look at a picture all the time. Like very few, especially my own work. I cannot look at my own work. That makes me feel nuts. So they're all in, flat files and drawers and whatever's. Um, but if I have pictures in a book, I could just close the book
Mm.
and put it on the shelf, and I enjoy
Hmm.
that. And then I also like to read, so that kind of adds up. I've got places for them, whereas I don't have enough
Right.
wall space for much of anything. But my wife's also an artist. This is some of her process artwork
Nice.
here,
ah,
and so we have mostly her paintings hung around because they're abstract. All my pictures are essentially narrative, and hers are just colorful.
Yeah.
It's a different message, and I enjoy that.
Right.
Like it's if it was
Yeah.
a landscape. I could live with I couldn't live with Stephanie's work because it's like faces. Like I had a thing about faces when I was a kid, even on the
You
edges of books.
Yeah, you
If it had,
couldn't? You couldn't
I
live with that?
couldn't,
No.
I could not. Which is so weird
I
that
find
that's
it
what
annoying as well, looking at my own work all the time. No, I'm not kidding, I do.
Say more.
Do you feel like they're watching you, like when you walk
I
around the
do.
room?
Well, especially late at night, if I've like done something to help me sleep, then I'm just like, stop. What do you want to tell me? What do you want to tell me? I'm like thinking, I'm like channeling messages. Then it's just time to go to bed. You know?
I had someone tell me that once about I have a portrait of my dad that I did when I was quite young, and a friend of mine said, he's following me. I can't make a move on you or anything, and I feel like my dad's watching me.
Yeah.
And I had one lady who used to help me clean when I wasn't well. She told me she was really weirded out because my dad's eyes kept following her around the room.
That's a really specific kind of a perspective that you're able to achieve then. Have you ever seen this before? I can't remember there's an algorithm, not an algorithm, but like it's a perspective.
Yeah.
To,
Some of mine do that. Some, not all, but some do that.
It depends because my dad, he spent a long time, over 30 years, teaching maths and sciences, right? So he had a very intense teacher look. And when he was talking to me, most of the time he's trying to put something in my brain. So when I did the portrait of him, my aunt took one look. She said, he's not that dark skinned. And, I don't know, but his colleague and slash friend walked in the room, saw the portrait, and he said, oh, that's his teacher look. So maybe it's because it was the intense, I'm trying to get something in your brain, girl.
you're looking to capture something specific too, right?
Yeah.
Like this in the relationship and his communication to you. And so does that influence the other things that you collect?
Personally,
Yeah.
I have this inadvertent, like not really conscious collection of scarves.
Well,
Not
you
just the
make
ones
them too.
not just the ones you've made?
No, I just only
Oh.
like scarves. For me, making scarves is actually just like when I rip off the bottom part of one of my large pieces of repurposed fabric, and I have to test the leaves and the dye. So what I've been doing is I make a big piece of artwork that's going to go in my show next month, but it's the test strip that I turn into a scarf because, like, why waste it, right?
Oh, I had no idea.
So essentially, the scarves are like the waste material. And I just started doing that a couple of years ago. But before, like, since I was, I don't know, like maybe it started with people bringing me back like a scarf from where they traveled or something. You know, they used to have those scarves printed with like Trinidad and Tobago or Barbados or whatever. And then they started bringing them back for me, and as a kid, and then I just liked them and I'd wear them, and then people were like, oh, she wears her scarves. So, and then I just, yeah, I have like, I when I was younger, I used to just put a string along beside my bed, and then I'd hang the scarves over it, like so it was like a canopy, but I could see them all and choose which scarf I was gonna like.
Oh, how nice.
Cute.
What about you,
Yeah, but
Stephanie? Do you do much art?
don't do that. They fade in the sun.
Noted.
I trade, so I swap. I do some swapping a little bit. Like I have, not it's not a regular thing that I do. I have done that, and I quite like the pieces that I swapped mine for. And then when I do my shows, I usually buy a little something from one or two of the neighboring artists.
Nice. Oh, you're going to be really developing a collection, Stephanie.
It's a collection of
Busy.
smalls, like literally smalls.
Yeah, that's nice. I also have the barter, like, and like Lara, buried, the buried. One day I'll hang them collection of barter from fellow students over the years, especially in printmaking, because we make multiples, do editions. So I have some really lovely prints that I would love to have the space to hang. But then that's a whole other story when you talk about collecting. So that's about everything we can talk about today.
We've met our time limit. Wow,
Yeah.
that was an exciting and fun conversation.
Collecting is a special part of our lives, I think, where we are able to kind of indulge our own, like some kind of self-care almost, where we're, you know, doing something for ourselves.
Oh, how beautiful. Beautifully
True.
put. Well,
That's a good way of putting it.
on that note, let's collect ourselves next week, shall we? See you later. Bye, guys.
Bye bye.